Is there any film left in Japan? I've just got back from an epic 18-day trip to the land of the rising sun. I visited the cities of Sapporo, Kyoto, Osaka and Tokyo, and I visited over 20 electronic shops and camera shops, and I have the definitive results of my research here for you today. In this video, I'll tell you what I found in Japan, what I didn't find, and what I ended up buying. Now, when we think of Japan, we think of the rich photographic history they have gifted the world. In fact, if I could only shoot cameras from one country for the rest of my life, it would be Japan for sure. I am lucky enough in my collection to have cameras from Canon, Nikon, Pentax, Ricoh, Konica, Kyocera's Yashica and Contax, and of course, let's not forget the Japanese juggernaut that is Fujifilm. Now, Fujifilm have perhaps the biggest legacy of any camera brand in Japan. Now, bear with me here. Not only did they make some of the most innovative cameras in the late 20th and early 21st century, but they also had an extraordinary legacy of producing film, and they rivaled Kodak for worldwide supremacy in global film markets. The only other Japanese company that also produced film, of course, was Konica, but they were nowhere near as big as either Fujifilm or Kodak. Now, despite the rich legacy that Fujifilm have given the world in terms of all of these innovative cameras and the incredible array of photographic films they've produced over the years, in the last decade or so, they have become the pantomime villain in the film photography community, mostly because they have discontinued film after film. And these days in 2023, some of Fujifilm's stocks are actually produced by Harman in the UK and also Kodak in the USA. So it's a pretty grim sort of situation with what Fujifilm stocks there are left. Now, just before I left for Japan, Fujifilm issued yet another of these discontinuation media releases. Now, usually this is not a cause for celebration at all. However, I was a little bit excited. What they were basically saying in this media release was that stocks of Fujicolor 100 and Fujifilm Premium Superior 400 would soon be running out in Japan. So I thought, okay, that's really sad news, but there's an opportunity here. I'm going to Japan next week. Maybe I can grab some of this before it disappears off the shelves forever. So this is kind of the basis for why I went to all of these camera and electronic shops. I wanted to see what Fujifilm goodness was left in stores and what other films were available in stores. So now I'll tell you what I found in Japan. I'll talk about the camera shops in Sapporo on the island of Hokkaido in northern Japan. I'll talk about what I found in Kyoto, the cultural capital of Japan, and of course Tokyo. So we're starting off here in Big Camera in Sapporo, and there is a lot of Instax stuff, as you'd imagine. At the top here, there's all different cards here. These are each different film. You take one of those cards to the counter and you pick up your film at the counter. There's the Instax Mini 12, the latest model there. You've got the Instax Mini-Lick printers, you've got the Evo, and you've also got the SQ1, that very basic square Instax model. You've also got an Instax Wide 300. Look at that. It's like a dinosaur there sitting there, isn't it? And the Instax Wide film is still on sale, which is very good news. Going over here, we're going to look at the film section. Hooray! But my celebrations are short-lived. There's some disposables there at the top, and look how much color negative film there is. Out of stock, out of stock, out of stock. Everything almost is out of stock. There's a little bit of portrait there. They're like dummy ones that you take up to the counter and buy, but you can only buy them in pro packs. There is some lomography there, but that is out of stock, as you can see. There is a little bit of 120 in gold. There's quite a bit of lomography, black and white film, and then going further down, there is quite a bit as well of Ilford and other brands in black and white, and also some 4x5 film at the bottom there. But that is it for film. Very disappointing. We're going to finish here with a little shot of very cute photo albums, and we're going to pick things up in Kyoto. And here we have got to the film, and surprise, surprise, a lot of the film is sold out. So yeah, Kodak Color Plus, about 16 Australian dollars. That's not too bad, but there's none there. There's plenty of Kodak medium format by the look of it in 120, and some slide film there. There's Provia, what's that, 4x5 is it? Yep, 4x5, there's some T-Max, but that's it. There's no Fujifilm, There's hardly anything actually. There's actually less film here than in Sapporo. In Sapporo, there was way more film than this. Well, there was Ilford and there's Lomography as well as a bit of Kodak. Here we are at Bit Camera Shinjuku. There's a nice film strip here telling us this is the film section. Plenty of 120 in stock, lots of Kodak stocks there, but look, one item per person. The gold is the bargain there at about $80 and the Portra 400 is $125. You can buy single rolls of Portra 800 and pro packs of Portra 400 in 35mm, but it's not cheap. And all these other ones across here, Portra 160, Ektar, and also Ultramax 400 are all out of stock. Portra 800 was $29 a roll, with Ultramax about half of that. Then there's the Escura Showa camera film, and on the far left you've got the Fujifilm Premium, Superior 400 and the Fujicolor 100, all gone, cannot order, very sad. Velvia 50 is one item per person, but look at that, Velvia 100 and Provia cannot order, very sad, cannot order, all these Provia and other stocks. There's some T-Max here, continuing the Kodak theme. And there's quite a bit of black and white from different suppliers, Lomography, Arista Edu, and look at that, all that Ilford, lots of Ilford in 35mm. Going down the shelf, we've got some more Lady Grey stuff. We've got Ilford in 120. And coming across, what else have we got? Any more surprises? We've got some Rolly film, very nice. Down here we've got some random stuff. We've got Fujifilm plastic mounts. These are for slides, so you can do your own slide mounting. Can't get much slide film, but you can get some plastic mounts. And look at that, down the bottom there's some 4x5 film there in black and white and color. So this was pretty typical of what you'd find anywhere in Japan. Quite a bit of black and white, hardly any color. There's also some, reloadable cameras here that you can buy, different brands, Kodak, Ilford color and stuff like that, and lots of plastic cameras, the Rito ones, the Kodak ones, and some other sort of players in the market. Those Kodak ones are $35. The Rito ones here around $36, and the Ilford ones are a little bit cheaper, around the $32 mark. Around the corner at Kitamura Camera in Shinjuku, they had quite a good stock of Kodak films, Triax, Portra 400, a little bit of Cinestill, a little bit of Lomography, some Escura Showa camera film, and look at that, some lovely Ektar and also Ultramax. The Portra 400 there was around $28. At Nakano Broadway, Photolab have a nice little selection of film, including some Fujifilm Superior 400, some Cinestill, some Film Never Die, and some Kodak and Acros. Around the corner at Koji Camera, all downstairs is digital, but if you go upstairs, there's loads of film cameras and lots of Cosmo Photo, JCH, Rolly, Cinestill, lots of Velvia in 120, some Kodak Portra 800, some Pancro, Bergère, some Ilford, and look at all this color negative film, all for around $12 a roll, Color Plus, Ultramax, and gold. In Akihabara in central Tokyo, there was quite a bit of film behind the counter there. Look at all that Instax, some rolls of black and white, and some large format film there on the right hand side. Turning around, there was a shelf with some Ultramax on for $14.50. There was a pro pack of Portra for $130. Lots of black and white film, lots of Ilford, lots of Lomography, some Ektar in 120, some Slide in 120. And look at all these chemicals, the most amount of chemicals I saw anywhere in Japan. And coming down here, you've got lots of 4x5 film, or a little bit of 4x5 film, lots of accessories and cameras and stuff like that. So yeah, a little bit disappointing. So there you go, pretty sad viewing, isn't it? I could not get my hands on a single roll of Fujifilm color negative film while I was in Japan. There was a little bit of slide film, a little bit of black and white. There was some film in other formats like 120 and 4x5, but if you wanted 35mm color negative film, your only real option was Kodak. And the prices, because it's imported from the USA, the prices were pretty high and you probably get it cheaper at home. The only roll of film I bought in my entire stay in Japan was the Escura Showa camera film. And you can see the results in my video, What is this mystery Japanese 35mm film, right here on YouTube. Now, if you love Japan and if you love film, you're in luck. This is the third Japan on film video I'm publishing here on my YouTube. Of course, the first one was the Escura Showa camera film. What is this mystery Japanese film? The second one was probably one of the least popular videos I've published here on YouTube. It is a 3-minute walk through the beautiful hot springs town of Jizankai in Hokkaido. It doesn't feature my beautiful face, it just has some music and some stills brought to you by the Contax T3. I really love putting that together. Unfortunately, YouTube has not loved that video. Even my mum and dad didn't watch it. Actually, that's not true. They did watch it. Also on my YouTube is this Tokyo film photography walk with Minolta TC1. Make sure you check that one out too. If you're enjoying this video, help me out by giving it a thumbs up and leaving a comment below. I would also love it if you subscribe to my YouTube channel and also to my free photography newsletter, mattlovescameras.substack.com. You can sign up completely for free, but if you do take out one of the paid memberships, either like a 1-month one or a yearly one, you can actually access copies of my zines. And the first zine to go on the Substack for subscribers is my new zine 35mm Japan, which features over 40 film photos from my trip to Japan this year. So there are now 3 zines for subscribers to download on Substack: 35mm Japan, Fantastic, and Purple Grain. If you prefer a printed copy, head along to mattlovescameras.com. Click on this page here with all the swans, and there's more details about the zine here. Along with the zine, you'll also get some other goodies. You'll get some postcards, including this Jizankai Shrine postcard from Hokkaido, and you'll also get the new limited edition Matt Loves Cameras point and shoot sticker, only guaranteed for the first 40 orders. So you've heard about what I was looking for but couldn't buy. Now would you like to find out what I did buy? Okay, well the first thing I'll tell you is this. The camera shops over there are fantastic. I really love looking around. I did not buy any cameras while I was over there. Actually, I did buy one camera. I'll show it to you in a second. It wasn't a film camera. I did not buy any film cameras while I was over there. I was very close though. In Kyoto one morning, I went up to a camera store and there was a Fujifilm Natura Classica. That is the Natura camera with a zoom lens. I've only ever seen them on the internet. It's really small, really tiny, it looked beautiful. Right next to it, there was a Ricoh GR21. Again, it looked beautiful, tiny, tiny camera. And the prices were really good. I couldn't believe it. So the gentleman unfortunately didn't speak English, but I had my little Google Translate app. The first thing he said to me was, "That's the broken cabinet." Yes, unfortunately, the cameras that were really well priced, it wasn't because it was a really bargain camera shop, it was because there were things wrong with them. And because I didn't fully understand the electronic issues that were listed there, I did like a translate with my phone, but yeah, I couldn't work it out, what it meant, and obviously spending a few $100s on a GR21 which had issues, probably not a good idea if I don't fully understand the issues. So unfortunately I came away with no film cameras at all. But you know, if you want an SLR or you want a rangefinder or you want a medium format camera, you can walk into pretty much any camera store in Japan and you'll find a Pentax 6.7, you'll find an FM2, you'll find whatever you're looking for, you'll probably find it in one shop or the other. Fantastic array of film cameras in Japan. Point and shoots, not so much. They didn't really seem to have that many point and shoots, which is a little bit disappointing because you know, I'm a point and shoot fiend, what can I say? But on the other hand, it did save my budget, so that was pretty good, I guess. Now I'll show you what I did end up buying. The first thing I ended up buying, I use every day. It's pretty basic, not very exciting, but it's this cloth. It's a lens cloth for cameras. I actually use it for my glasses every single day. I've got this little cloth in my pocket. I use it for my cameras as well, but I love this cloth. I think I bought my wife one for her 40th birthday. You know, Matt Loves Cameras, bringing out all the big presents for the wife. What can I say? The next thing I bought was this. I don't even really know what it is. I think it's like a cloth wrap, a microfiber thing. I don't think it's for lenses. I think it's something like you'd wrap a camera in to protect it. I don't really know. It cost about 10 Australian dollars, which is about $6-7 US, and it's got Rolly on it, made in Germany. The third thing I bought were some CR2 batteries. One of my cameras was playing up. I think it was my Contax T3. It just stopped working and I was a little bit worried. It had a brand new battery in, but I must have left it on or something. I don't know what happened, but I went and got some CR2 batteries and they were a decent sort of price in Japan. So yeah, that's the third thing I bought. The fourth thing I bought was a camera. This camera here, a Sanrio Characters Takina digital camera. This is probably the worst camera in the world. I'll be doing another video on this very soon, so make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It seriously is really bad, like seriously bad. I mean, who knew that a tiny digital camera with a character on would be so bad? Well, this is really bad. But this one here has Pom Pom Purin on. He is one of the Sanrio crew. Of course, the most famous alumni of the Sanrio crew is Hello Kitty. But this is Pom Pom Purin. Pom Pom Purin is very popular in Japan. I think he's like a golden Labrador that wears a beret. So I bought one of these. The funny thing is I actually have one of these cameras here in Australia. I was going to take it to Japan with me just for a bit of fun, and I couldn't find the charging cable, so I left it at home. When I saw it in Japan, it was like about 50 Australian dollars, which is about 40 or 35 US. Against my better judgment, I bought another one. So I have two of the world's worst cameras now. The fifth thing that I bought in Japan that's related to photography is this, the Escura Showa camera film. Look at this box. I don't have the canister anymore, my lab has that, but look at this box. How cool is that? It really is a very well, nicely designed box. And make sure you check out my video, What is this mystery Japanese 35mm film, for all the lowdown on what the pictures look like and what film this is. The sixth thing I bought in Japan that is photography related was Instax. Yes, you can find Instax everywhere in Japan. So although there wasn't much Fujifilm color negative film, I did buy some Instax. I actually bought this at Narita Airport on the way home. I saw it there and it was quite well priced. So the Instax is pretty cheap compared to what it is in Australia. Usually one of these in Australia is about 15 Australian dollars or 10 US dollars. You can get discounts obviously for like double packs or 4 or 5 packs, but generally the single packs are about, yeah, that 10 US dollar mark. These ones here are about 700 yen, 800 yen. So that's around about 10 Australian dollars, which is about 650 US. So they're a little bit cheaper than in Australia. And I got the Heart Sketch ones. Heart Sketch, that looks cute. I got the Pink Lemonade. I got the Sky Blue. And I got the Macaron. So there you go, I got 4 packs of Instax at Narita Airport. I don't actually shoot much Instax Mini, that is the hilarious thing. Maybe I need a better camera to shoot Instax Mini with than my Instax Mini 11 or whatever model I've got. But there you go, I bought some fresh Japanese Instax. 2 more things I'm going to show you that I bought in Japan. They're not photography related though, unfortunately. But in one of the stores, I think it was Daiso, I bought these Hello Kitty bags. Look at how cute these are. Seriously, I love Hello Kitty and Sanrio characters. Everything in Japan is very, kawaii, very cute. I have no idea what I'm going to do with these. They're like little plastic Ziploc bags. I haven't opened them yet. I don't know what I'm going to put in them. I'm probably going to leave them on my shelf for the next 10 years, but they're really, really super cute. And they only cost like, I think $2 or something crazy like that. And the last thing I'm going to show you that is related to Japan is, of course, this. You might be wondering what watch I'm wearing. It's not a watch. It's actually a Mario power-up band from Universal Studios in Osaka. We had a wonderful, amazing time there. And yeah, I thought I'd wear my Mario Japanese shirt here today, and I thought I'd wear my power-up band just to give me a feeling like I'm back in Japan. Sadly not. So if you're going to Japan anytime soon and you want to shoot film, I have one simple tip for you. Take your own film with you. So when I went to Japan, I took 22 rolls of color negative film. I made sure that I took the film out of all of the packaging and put them in 2 clear plastic Ziploc bags, just like this. In fact, this is the leftovers of the film I didn't shoot in Japan. As I said, I took 22 rolls, I shot 12, so I had 10 left. Actually, I bought one over there, so I actually only shot 11, so I should have 11 rolls left in here. That's my film I didn't shoot. So you can see a roll of Pro 400H there I didn't shoot. Anyway, so that's what you do. You put it in clear Ziploc bags and you ask politely at the security for a hand check. Now, a lot of people out there will say there's certain tips or techniques. You have to be polite and firm, like there's some Jedi mind trick you do with the security staff there. Look, I think it's just the luck of the draw, whether the staff there have been instructed to do hand checks or not. It could be the individual security staff, whether they like doing them or not. It's just a bit of luck. I don't think there's any tried and trusted method. So you turn up with your film like that. ask politely for a handshake. If they say no, perhaps ask again. If they say no again, you know, getting into an argument with airport security, generally not a great thing to do. I was very lucky. I had 5 successful hand checks. I've never been that lucky domestically in Australia. Probably about half the time I'll get one and half the time I won't get one. But on this trip at the Gold Coast, I had to do 2 security checks at domestic and then international airport. So went through those 2 security checks just fine. They hand checked the film. That evening we got to Tokyo at Narita Airport. We stayed 1 night at Narita. Next morning back out to Narita Domestic and we flew to Sapporo. Narita Domestic did a hand check for me. We stayed 6 days in Hokkaido. At Sapporo, we then left to go to Kansai, which is near Osaka. Sapporo Domestic Airport did a hand check for me. And then we went up to Kyoto and Tokyo. Then when we left Tokyo, Tokyo was the only place along the whole way where I actually saw a sign saying, you know, if you have photographic film, you can ask for a hand check. And I thought, oh, brilliant. This is my 5th hand check and this is going to be the easiest. It was actually the hardest because the guy on security that day just said, I just put them in the tray. And I sort of said, you know, obviously he speaks Japanese, I don't. I was like, actually it's photographic film, I'd like a hand check. And I had to ask him a couple of times and sort of say, oh, I'd like a hand check, please. And eventually they did it, no problem at all. But still, I thought that was kind of funny. The one airport with a sign was the most difficult to get a hand check at. But still, I managed to do it. 5 hand checks. When I got back to Australia, I sent my film away to Ikigai Film Lab in Melbourne, and they sent me a few days later all these wonderful scans. That's it for this video. I hope you're well. Take care. I will see you next time.